Hi, I'm Brandon Ivey, and you're checking me out on In the Now magazine.
So you guys are here at the Kansas Cosmos Fair today. You guys have the TIV with you. So, how's everything been going so far?
It's been going really good. There's great turnout today. A lot of kids have come out, and I love talking to kids about science and weather and things like that. Me and Marcus are out here with the vehicle, so it's a lot of hands-on. You can climb in the vehicle, check it out, and see the vehicle that's in the movie and that we've used for storm chasing for the last several years. So it's a nice event. A lot of people have come out, and it's nice to interact and meet everybody here.
Now, did the turnout, did that surprise you guys?
The turnout's been pretty good. There's been some other cities that have been pretty busy, but I'd say so far Hutch has probably been the busiest city, and that's great. I'm from Wichita. I'm born and raised in Kansas, so I was really excited to come, to Hutch and the Cosmos Fair because I frequently visited it when I was growing up as a kid. So it's kind of nice to finally be back.
Now, being from Kansas, has storm chasing been something you've always been interested in, even from as a young age?
Yeah, I became interested in storm chasing at a very young age, and actually I chased, probably my first storm chase on my own was when I was 16. I went out and started chasing just locally around the Wichita area, just a couple counties out. But I started at a pretty young age, going out and tracking tornadoes and chasing them.
When was it that you knew that this was something you wanted to do as a career?
Well, I kind of fell into doing it as a career. I got a degree in broadcast meteorology thinking, well, I'll maybe go into TV as a TV meteorologist someday, but doing that would really take me out of the field and not really allow me to chase storms much anymore. So storm chasing, up until I kind of fell into the Discovery Channel job, was always a serious hobby that, I worked a full-time job, but I worked first shift, and, I'd spend a lot of my personal money going out and chasing storms, but I was kind of always restricted, with the job to a localized area, and that's kind of one thing that the Discovery Channel, working with them, has allowed me to get out and pretty much chase anything and everything for 2 months.
Now, how did you hook up and get involved with the TIV crew?
Well, a lot of it was luck. I had chased a lot, and 2007, 2008, me and my chase partner Matt Hughes chased a lot, and really it was just the videos we were posting on YouTube, the video we were streaming live. We had a lot of followers, and people just saw our work, and we were highly successful at tracking down tornadoes and documenting them, and I think really it was probably Reed Timmer who was the most influential in us getting that spot on Discovery, because he recommended us for the job when they were looking for someone. So
wow.
It's kind of not really a job we were seeking, kind of an opportunity that came to us, which is
kind of fell in your lap.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of the way things normally work. But yeah, we're definitely grateful and happy to have the opportunity to go out and work with the crew and work with Sean on his film. And
No, working on shooting the film, what would you say some of the biggest obstacles you personally had to overcome with doing that? What would a couple of those be?
Biggest obstacle is working on the film. Sean's not always the easiest to work with, so sometimes we all, after being in a vehicle, all of us, we get tired and worn out being in the same vehicle for hours on end, days, for months at a time. So there's some moments like that, and then probably just working with that, and then losing a real good friend while I was out chasing is probably one of the biggest obstacles I've had to overcome.
Yeah, it was definitely a tragic loss there. I really am glad that the Discovery Channel did a kind of a tribute for him, and that was really awesome. Now, having been in so many different tornadoes, is there any one particular one that kind of maybe stands out as maybe the most memorable one to you?
Yeah, there's a lot of storms I've chased over the years that have been really memorable. Each is kind of memorable in its own element, I guess. Probably the most would be in 2009, the Goshen County, Wyoming intercept that Matt and I were able to direct Sean into. It was kind of, really an achievement, because this was like the best tornado we'd been in since, ever. And, just it had been a really slow year, a real trying year. There weren't a lot of storms to work with, and we didn't think we'd, meet our goal of getting him in the tornado that year. And, here comes the first week of June, and we were able to successfully get him in the strongest tornado, and he probably got his best footage to date in that tornado. So it was a great achievement for both of us.
Wow.
It's probably the most memorable. That was June 5th, 2009.
Wow.
Southeast Wyoming.
Wow. So when, like you were saying, you were saying that there wasn't a whole lot of storm activity going on. What do you do in your downtime when you're not out storm chasing?
Me, since I live in Wichita, I try to get back home and see the wife and kids as much as possible when there's downtime. That's usually what I take advantage of it for. If there's just a day or two, we'll do local stuff around whatever town we're staying in. Maybe go sightseeing, hiking, fishing. We all enjoy the outdoors quite a bit, so usually we'll find some outdoors, go see some local place of interest or something like that.
You guys
just have a down day to rest up because we're on the road so much during, while we're chasing and stuff. So sometimes it's nice to have that down day just to kind of catch up and just
recuperate,
take a break and, catch our breath.
Now, is there any particular area of the U.S. that you see more storms happening in?
Well, the last couple of years, it seems like a lot of the activity shifted a little further north. We've been chasing a lot more in Wyoming, Nebraska, the Dakotas, and Minnesota than, further south. Some of our tornadoes in the early season have come out of the, Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma area, but it seems like we're chasing further north and, on average. So it'd be nice to chase more in Kansas. Kansas, I'm really like chasing in Kansas because I live here and I've chased it. I'm real familiar with the roads, and the road networks are fairly gridded and easy access to a lot of the storms. Second most favorite state to chase in would probably be the eastern half of South Dakota because they have a similar, real flat terrain, real nice road network up there where you can keep up with storms real easy. And it's been a real successful area for tornadoes too. There's been a lot of tornadoes up in there in recent years in the eastern half of South Dakota.
Now, I know on the TV show we see a lot of interaction with you guys inside the TIV, but how do you guys keep yourself busy in between point A and point B? Do you guys goof around?
Well, I'm usually busy looking at hourly updates on the weather, so I'm kind of, focused in on that. Sean, he'll usually read a book in the back. Marcus is focused on driving. But when we do have, extra downtime, if, we're just traveling, there's a lot of times I'll just, be surfing the internet or listening to my iPod.
Hey, let's talk about that, your iPod. If we were to look at your iPod, what would be some of the last artists you were listening to? What would we see?
Oh, wow. I enjoy a variety of music, so I'm not really fond of one genre. I listen to anything from hip hop and rap to hard rock, even some country, old classic rock. I kind of grew up playing guitar, so I like a lot of I grew up with a lot of Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, things that really kind of challenged me on the guitar. I started out learning some country, which was easier, but as I got into playing guitar more and more, I looked for more challenging, songs, and a lot of the heavier metal and the blues rock and stuff was where a lot of the more challenging guitar playing and solos were at.
Nice, cool. So, what can the fans expect from the next season of Storm Chasers? What are we in store for?
Well, the next season we're going to try to accomplish higher goals than what we did last year. We're going to try to see more tornadoes. Hopefully some of those will be weak enough where we can get more intercepts than what we got last year. Probably experiment. We'll be collecting data in and around storms again and experiment with some 3D camera rigs and see how those work. Because it'd be nice to have a sequel movie one of these days where all the tornadoes are filmed in 3D, and when the viewer's in the auditorium watching it, it's like the tornadoes just come out of the screen at you. It'd be a pretty awesome experience. Or
wow, yeah,
at
definitely.
least the way we're thinking it'll work out. It'll probably be really interesting.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's 3D technology is just, it's really gearing up, and with 3D TVs coming out and stuff, it's kind of the next frontier that we'll probably experiment with. That's how that goes.
Now, what type of advice would you give someone who might want to pursue this as a career?
Definitely school always helps. Getting a degree in meteorology. A lot of days, if you're wanting to get into the research aspect, like what Vortex 2 has been doing the last couple of years, it's important to get a master's or a PhD in operational meteorology. Someone who's just wanting to get into storm chasing, there's a lot of resources on the internet where you can kind of learn the ropes a little bit before you go out there and just do it blindly for your first time. Or there's a lot of other chasers out there that are willing to, take other people out, if they're willing to split the cost of gas, because that, gas is getting so expensive these days.
Yeah.
So you can either learn a lot on the internet, or you can go out with somebody who has already been doing it for several years. And, it's a great hobby. If you're fascinated with science and the weather, it's a great hobby. You really get a great appreciation for the atmosphere, and it's amazing to go out there and see all these elements come together and how they work in the real atmosphere.